Yo, 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 everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Good to see you in today's live stream again. Let me know if you guys can hear and see me. Would love to know. Just to double check and confirm before we dive into things. But I think you guys should be able to. Just quickly double checking. Yo, 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 Fushi. How are you doing, my friends? Welcome to the stream as well. Sudo, I am doing well, my friend. How are you doing? Perfect. They can hear and see me. Welcome as well, Flavor 8. Good to see you. Good morning, SSR. Good morning, good afternoon, I mean. Welcome as well, Kamal. Good to see some people already tuning in and also saying hello in the chat. Welcome, PA5262. I don't know if you are actually my nephew, but if you are, I don't like you. Welcome to the stream as well, JDR Debilis. What's up, Daniel, my friend? What is up? Welkom as well, Sagin. Welkom, samen kijken. Welcome to the stream as well, Animal Stories, and I'm going to dive into Bitcoin in a little bit. I am not short yet, Sia. Not short yet. Also, welcome to the stream, Quanta Strike Pro. Many people tuning in, guys. I love to see it. No, I just stream publicly nowadays once every week, Daniel. And I don't announce it or post it in the weekly schedule for the students. What are the stats going into the year end? Let's discuss the statistics in a little bit as well. First of all, guys, let's quickly go over my analysis for the price of Bitcoin. Currently looking for short triggers, patiently waiting for short triggers as well before I'm potentially going to execute some big Bitcoin shorts. Last week was a week of very choppy price action over here. As you guys can see, I think I navigated it extremely well. I'm very happy with my performance without patting myself on the back too much. But currently what we can see when I quickly just go over the hour 4 structure for Bitcoin, which for me is key to help determine and inform my bias. What we can see is that Bitcoin was forming higher highs and higher lows over here. Over here we formed a higher high and then we formed a lower low, meaning that Bitcoin was swing failing this high right there, and afterwards we can see that Bitcoin shifted structure back towards the downside over here. Okay, so we have our first shifted structure back towards the downside. Now afterwards we can see that Bitcoin formed a lower high over here and then a lower low over here, which means that as soon as Bitcoin took out this low right there, the high that brought us towards that lower low became a significant high to break, aka this high over here. Currently, we can see that Bitcoin is trying its hardest to break through that high, but currently swing failing it, okay? In order to flip bullish again on the price of Bitcoin, I need Bitcoin to open and close a candle above this high over here on the 4-hourly time frame, okay? So closing above this high isn't enough. We need a candle to open and close above this significant high in order to confirm a market structure break, okay? A lot of people are always looking at the closure above a significant high. I'm looking for a candle to open above the significant high and also close above the significant high, okay? As long as that doesn't happen, I'm bearishly biased on the price of Bitcoin. And I'm actually looking for this monthly low over here to get taken out, okay? Now, why is this monthly low for me so important? When we go towards the Brighter Data platform and I look at the monthly time statistics for Bitcoin and select the last 7 years of monthly time data, then we can see that when I select these last 7 years of monthly time data, 94% of months form a new P2 after December 9th, 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So basically, there is a 94% probability to either take out the low for the month or the high for the month on Bitcoin before the monthly candle closes, which happens in around 1.5 weeks from now, right over here, as you guys can see. So a 94% probability to either take out the high or the low before the monthly candle closes, which obviously is a very, very high probability. Now, considering the fact that structure is bearish, and also considering the fact that we are forming this very big wick towards the upside, I think, for now at least, unless we shift structure, there's a higher probability that we take out the monthly low compared to the monthly high for Bitcoin. Okay? After that high, mark. Yes, but the 2 consecutive red candle rule is only for higher lows and not for lower highs, Anthony. So we only need 2 consecutive red candles, right, to form a higher low. Not to form a valid higher high, if you see what I mean. Or a valid lower low, I mean, sorry. You understand what I'm saying, Anthony? I actually got this question yesterday as well from a student, so that is quite interesting that you are asking about it as well. No, I am not short yet, I'm waiting for a short trigger, which I will explain in a little bit. So this is how I form my bias, guys, and this is my target, right, the monthly low. Now I'm just waiting to get a short trigger on a Bitcoin. And to get my triggers, I usually navigate towards the 1 hourly or 15-minute time frame. So, Antonin here. So you have your high, and then you say, okay, we only have 1 red candle and 1 red candle, right? But these red candles are the red candles that bring us to a lower low. They don't matter to me. Only thing that matters is that we have 2 green candles confirming the lower high, right? Lower lows, right, so this move, or higher high, so a move like this, can be formed with only 1 candle. There we don't need 2 consecutive red or green candles in a row exceeding each other, if you see what I mean, for those legs. Now, in order to get my short trigger, I'm navigating towards the 15-minute time frame. And what I can see is that Bitcoin overnight took out this high, right? And as soon as it took out this high, we knew that this one over here became significant. Do you understand now, Anthony? If you don't, please let me know and I will elaborate more. This one over here became significant because it swept into a very important liquidity pool, right? We had liquidity resting above this high, and also above this high. We can see that afterwards, price formed a higher low over here, followed by another higher high. Then we formed another higher low over here, 2 consecutive red candles confirming the higher low. This higher low over here, once again, brings us to a higher high, meaning that this higher low over here is now our low to break in order to flip bearish, in order to get a bearish trigger. So that's what I'm currently waiting for on the price of Bitcoin. I'm waiting for Bitcoin. Yo, Goliath, how are you doing, my friend? I'm waiting for Bitcoin to get a push beneath the low right there, followed by a lower high, and then pushing lower. This is what I'm currently waiting for. If we open and close a candle on the 15-minute time frame beneath this low, I'm executing short on the price of Bitcoin with my invalidation above the weekly high, targeting that monthly low right over here. So in that case, this is what my short would look like. Only if I get my trigger. If Bitcoin decides to now form a higher high once more, so if Bitcoin decides to take out this high, all of a sudden, this is not our low to break anymore. All of a sudden, in order to get a bearish trigger in that case, this is our low to break, okay? Because as soon as Bitcoin forms a higher high, this is not the low that brings us to this higher high. it's this low right over here, okay? So this in that case becomes our significant low to break. So very important to be aware of. Currently waiting for Bitcoin to get a confirmed market structure break right here. If we do not get this market structure break and Bitcoin decides to form a higher high today and take out the current daily high, all of a sudden, this becomes our significant low to break. Welcome to the stream as well, Beast Horror. How are you doing, my friend? So let me know if you guys understand these two short triggers that I'm currently seeking for on the price of Bitcoin in order to get short towards this monthly low target over here. And I just explained why it's such an important target for me, because historically speaking, there's still a 92 or 94% historical probability to either take out the monthly low or the monthly high before the monthly candle closes. Perfect. Welcome as well, Happy. What is quite interesting to note as well is when I navigate towards the monthly distance statistics, that based on the last 7 years of monthly distance data, 93% of months moved further than plus 12.9%. So what this means is that the current move on Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, so we have our monthly open right there, and we are going to have our monthly closure right over here. Currently we can see that Bitcoin made a move from the monthly low over here towards the monthly high right there of 12.84%. Okay, now monthly distance data showcases to us that 93% of months based on the last 7 years of bullish monthly candles have seen a bigger displacement compared to the current displacement. So that means that if we do not take out either the monthly high over here or the monthly low right there, that the current monthly candle would be unusually small in terms of distance made from the low towards the high right there. Okay, so definitely something interesting to note as well. So both based on time, but also based on distance of price so far during the month of December, so over here, it is still very, very likely to either take out the monthly high right there, around 94.5K, or the monthly low over here, around 83.7K. That's not true, Happy. I don't know who mentioned that. I don't know who Marius is. I think you mean Maurice, but I also don't think that Maurice is actually sitting in the back, as you guys can see. No, someone is saying that you mentioned that the monthly low is strong and that only 10% chance to take out the monthly low based on last 1 year of data. I think he mentioned the daily low, Happy. So the current daily low. Do you look at order flow at all or just bright data and market structure? The only 3 components that I use for my trading strategy is price action, it's liquidity, and it's bright data. That's it. No indicators, no nothing. No order flow. Way too much variables, way too much information to process. I just have very strict guidelines and rules. Simplicity is key in my opinion, Meredy. A lot of people watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope all of you guys are doing well. I don't know if you guys are going to celebrate Christmas, but if you guys will celebrate Christmas this week, I wish you guys a Merry Christmas. If you guys will just take some time off and don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you guys will enjoy your time off as well this week. Make sure to spend it with your family. Thank you for the kind words, Goliath. I appreciate it. Have a question, Yip. Can you explain, please, what P1 and P2 means on brighter data? Of course I can. Such a nice question. Vlavorate. So, with brighter data, we always think in terms of candles, right? So, We have monthly candles, weekly candles, daily candles, session candles, 4-hour candles, and hourly candles. Now let's say we have our candle open and we have our candle close, right? In terms of time. So for example, this is a weekly candle. So we are looking at a weekly candle. This is the weekly open moment, weekly closure moment. And this is where the weekly open price is. Now each candle has a P1 and a P2. P1 is the high or low that gets formed first, and P2 is the high or low that gets formed second. So let's say Bitcoin does this. And this is currently where the price is at. Now we can see that the low got formed first and the high got formed second. So in this case, the weekly low is P1 and the weekly high is P2. Okay, very, very simple. It's not that difficult. If I invert the chart, high gets formed first, low gets formed second. So the high is P1, the low is P2. Important to mention is the fact that within a certain candle, right, P1s and P2s can flip. My short is not about to trigger Sachin. It takes at least 30 more minutes or 15 more minutes. So let's say price forms a high and then a low over here, right? It means that, like I just mentioned, the high got formed first over here. So it's the first pivot that got formed and the low got formed second. So it's the second pivot that got formed. Okay? Within this candle, we can get a P1, P2 flip. Because if Bitcoin, for example, makes a new high, right? All of a sudden, the low is the first extreme of this candlestick over here, and is in that case P1, and the high becomes P2. So in this case, we get a P1, P2 flip. Now all of a sudden, the low is P1 and the high is P2. This can continue to happen within this candlestick over here. So if Bitcoin decides to be crazy and take out the low once again, the low becomes P2 again, and the high was the first extreme that we formed over here. Okay? Let me know if this explains it. Who asked it? Flavorate. This is in a nutshell how I would explain P1 and P2. Going for short, I'm waiting for my trigger. Veja Takan. Did you already enter? If yes, then at which price? No, I did not enter my short yet. Do you check the 4-hour data also? Like here we have P1 put in early in the session. Do you check if it's a reliable one? I do check it for only the New York session. But besides the New York session, I only use daily, weekly, and monthly. That's just my personal preference, right? It depends on your strategy as well. Going down, are you shorting? You guys are eager to short, eh? I'm just patiently waiting for my trigger that I just explained, guys. Merry Christmas to you too, SSR Capital. I was wondering if 86K would hold and then we take out monthly high. Might be the case, might be the case. I don't know. I'm just playing it always level to level. What is the most epic slash legendary trade that you ever had? Do you trade Forex slash commodities? I also trade Forex. I trade Euro against the dollar. What is the most legendary trade I ever had? Oh, that's a great question. I think the most legendary trades that I ever had were, and it was more due to the event that happened at that time. It was last year during the elections. I got long on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not because I thought that Trump would win. I got long right before the elections, and yeah, Trump winning sped up the price action, and we just got a major run. And I was long on both Bitcoin and ETH. And I got filled during the elections on that push down. I don't know, I can maybe find the price action. It was like here. I don't know where it was exactly. I don't know, I can't really remember. was somewhere over here, and I cut this entire run over here all the way towards this level on both Bitcoin and ETH. Those were two legendary trades. I fully agree, SSR Capital. I actually posted a video on why you shouldn't copy trade last week. No, Hans, I am not short yet because I'm waiting for my trigger that I explained earlier throughout the stream. Yes, I am Dutch, PA 5262. What price is the trigger? I explained it already, but I'm waiting for Bitcoin to open and close a 15-minute candle beneath this low over here. That has brought us towards this higher high over there compared to this high that brought us to this low. So that's the trigger that I'm currently waiting for on Bitcoin in order to get short. Solana last year was crazy as well, Anthony, definitely. Beast Horror is asking any specific goals that you want to achieve in 2026. Beast Horror, I am not gonna lie, and I know this is a very boring answer, but I never discuss or disclose my goals with anyone. I don't know. I just, yeah, it's just something that I strongly believe in. That if you put your goals out there or things that you want to do, you know, that always ends not necessarily bad, but it just puts a weird energy on those goals. So I prefer to keep them to myself. Obviously, there's goals. One thing I never do is set goals in terms of earning a specific amount of money. Never. But there is goals. But I feel like for me next year, it's more about self-development. That I have certain goals in. Yeah, I just never set goals in terms of making certain amounts of money or reaching certain amount of subscribers or followers. Never. Rarely do those. And if I could give you guys one advice, keep your goals to yourself. There's little people on planet Earth that actually want to see you succeed, and there's just this weird thing about putting your goals out there. Yes, exactly, Samenkijken. Exactly. What are the chances that we take out the monthly low? Well, I can't really put a percentile on it right now. But as I mentioned, there's around a 90% probability that we either take out the monthly high and the monthly low. So I would say that if Bitcoin forms a strong weekly high this week, I think there's around a 70 to 80% probability that we will expand this weekly candle towards that monthly low. That's my expectation. But you can't really put a number on it. Animal stories unfolded. You're very eager to get signals and to be spoon fed. First of all, I'm not short yet, but even if I was, I feel like I do not want to spoon feed you. And there's a good video that I made last week on why you should, if you want to actually make trading work. And I think it's just the main problem currently in trading in this space. Actually, I truly mean this. I think this is such a great video for you to watch that I'm putting in the chat right now. Animal stories unfolded. It's such a big problem right now. People chasing signals, people, you know, I share every single trade I take with my students on my platform beforehand. But the reason I share my trades is not because they are meant as signals. The only reason that I share my trades with my students, which is a very tight-knit, close, small community platform, is because I want to lead by example, right? So I feel like if I want to educate people, I need to be able to share every single trade I take beforehand to show that the strategy that I'm teaching them is actually working. But they are not meant as signals. If people treat them as signals, I already know beforehand they won't make it as a trader. It's impossible. And I strongly mean this. Someone is saying, Marius, someone is saying, entry short, please draw a chart. No English. Oh my god. That's crazy. Same goes for you, EL. Please try not to be spoon-fed, my friend. Do you look at any alts to short? Alts are down so bad, hard to open short. Lol. I don't short altcoins. I occasionally trade altcoins, but if I do, I swing long them just because sometimes they can outperform Bitcoin towards the upside. I only trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Euro, and I'm also explaining to you guys why I would strongly advise you guys to just trade 2 pairs only, maximum 3. The reason being is data. If you want to build a reliable data set with your strategy on a certain asset to prove that your strategy is profitable, to also see where the strengths and weaknesses of your strategy are at on that asset, you need to take at least 50 trades on that asset, preferably even more to get reliable metrics and statistics, okay? So let's say I take 10 trades on Bitcoin, right? I have a, whatever, 50% win rate. If my 11th trade is a loss, my win rate, and I will have taken 11 trades, my win rate will go from 50 to like 46%, which means that that 50% win rate that you had on those 10 trades on Bitcoin wasn't reliable at all. If you, for example, take 50 trades on Bitcoin with a 50% win rate, and now you take a 51st trade on Bitcoin and it's a loss, your win rate won't fluctuate from 50 all the way towards 45, 46%. It will fluctuate from 50 to like 49.6%. Something like this, right? Maybe even slightly higher, I don't know. Which means that the metric of your win rate is a lot more reliable if you have 50 trades taken on BTC instead of 10 trades taken on BTC, right? It's simple data science. The more data points you have, the more reliable the outcome will be. Now, imagine doing this on 15 pairs. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Injective, Chainlink, and a lot more. It means that if you do this, for example, on 10 pairs instead of on one asset and one pair only, it's going to take you at least 500 trades before you get some reliable metrics and statistics. It's insane. Trading is so hard on itself already, and everyone is trying to trade 10 different assets, right? 10 different altcoins, and they expect to become a profitable trader. It's not the way it works, okay? Focus on mastering one asset first before you start thinking about trading a second. How can you become a master of an asset? First of all, by only looking at that asset only and not at 10 different other assets as well, and by building your data set on that asset. That's the only way to become a master of it, because the data set and the outcome with that data set is going to prove the fact that you have mastered that asset and that you are a profitable trader on that asset. Without the data set, it is impossible, okay? And in order to get a reliable data set, it takes at least 50 trades, probably even 70 to 80 trades, okay? So you are weekly bearish on Bitcoin and bullish on ETH. That is correct. That is correct. Acer Sam is saying top is in or not. I personally don't think that the top is in, actually. I think Bitcoin will trade higher. I think Bitcoin will trade higher in the coming months. How was your Husky ride? It looked so cool. It was a lot of fun. Happy. Thank you for asking. It was a lot of fun. Huh? SSR Capital is asking if I own Brighter Data. I have become a co-owner and co-founder of Brighter Data. Yes, early in 2025. It's not something I hide. I was a user for 1.5 years before, or 1 year before, and then I became a co-owner slash founder of Brighter Data. Chances of taking out both the monthly low and high before the monthly candle closes, Goliath, I think it's 0 to none, I would say. When did you start to use these Brighter Data and how much it changed your profit? Very nice question from Suspect Zeroist. I started using Brighter Data, I think now around 2 years ago. Probably around 2 years ago. And what it did for me was really filtering out the low probability trades, where I first thought that those low probability trades were high probability trades. And what it did for me is increase my win rate from around 52, 53% all the way towards 60%, which obviously is massive. So very grateful for that. And then I liked the product so much that I had a lot of talks with the original founder, Sergio Tesla, as you guys might know on Twitter, or Marnik in real life. I became very close with him, had a lot of chats and talks with him, and that way I decided to, or we decided that I got in on the business and would help him build the business, which I'm enjoying a lot. Animal Stories Unfolded is asking how to become your student. Very simple, Animal Stories Unfolded. All that you need to do is fill out the application form in the description down below. Takes 30 seconds. And if I like your application, I might reach out to you. Very simple. That's it. Fissy BTC is saying, but we need strategy and then get data on our trades. 100% correct. Strategy first, execution second, data set third. Do you look at our site? No, EO. I mentioned it earlier during today's stream. 3 components for my strategy. Price action, liquidity, Brighter Data. That's it. Haha, what was that smile? Well, Maurice is sitting in the back and he farted, so I had to laugh. I just answered how you can become my student. Animal Stories Unfolded. What does your home trade / desk setup look like? Asking for a friend. Sam, kijk, I am not gonna lie. You can probably find some pictures on my Instagram or Twitter. So make sure to follow it there because I post it like occasionally. I do not like my setup that much, man. Like I travel a lot, but as soon as I decide to settle down a little bit more, I will get like someone to come to my house and build the sickest, the best setup ever. But right now, I'm not ashamed, it's decent, but there's much better setups out there, my friend. PA5262 is asking if I look at liquidity heat maps. Nope. Nope. I think they are pretty unreliable. That's my opinion. Well, there's always a chance, right, Goliath, to take out 83k and then proceed to 94k. But for that to happen within 1 monthly candle, so that means that before this monthly candle closes, which happens right there, we would pull a move like this. It's not impossible, definitely not. Nothing is impossible. But is it very likely? I doubt it. You know what I mean? Yes, it does. Hey bro, so your strategy doesn't work without Brighter Data. It actually does, because I traded my strategy for 2.5 years full time before I started using Brighter Data, and it was already profitable before I started using Brighter Data. But when I started using Brighter Data, it just massively increased that profitability, which was very nice, of course. Bitcoin is trying to shift structure. Patiently waiting for a candle to open and close beneath this low. High time frame on ETH. I'm very bullish actually, guys. Well, very bullish. I am bullish. I wouldn't pay too much attention to yearly closes, to be honest, Goliath. All that I'm seeing on ETH, guys, is just pretty bullish. I'm seeing a lot of liquidity that got taken right there. You can argue that this entire leg down is where demand entered the market. Then we got our initial reversal structure right there. Now, this initial reversal structure was then... Welcome to the stream, Narcomar. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you here. This initial reversal structure on ETH was followed up by this slow grinding price action towards the upside. This slow grinding price action, right, is then engineering liquidity beneath this low and beneath this low. Okay, then we can see that Ethereum got a flush down right there. It mitigated this liquidity pool. And we can see that we formed one significant low, a second significant low, and a third right there. Followed by a high probability market structure break on the 4-hourly time frame. And this is also the reason why I am bullish on ETH but bearish on Bitcoin. Very simple. This is the reason. ETH has already provided us with a high probability reversal structure over here on the 4-hourly time frame, which means that I am not allowed, as per my strategy and system, to look for short triggers over here on ETH. Even if I get a short trigger over here on Ethereum, I won't take that short because 4-hour structure looks very bullish to me. Okay? So on ETH, what I prefer to do is wait for this move and then wait for bullish confirmations over here in order to get long like this. This is what I'm waiting for on ETH. Very bullish structure. I really like the chart of Ethereum, not gonna lie. I am not positioned in Bitcoin or ETH, DJO Tunco. I'm waiting for this bearish trigger on Bitcoin to get short. Nice questions again today, guys. I explained at the beginning of the live stream why I am bearish on Bitcoin, Neon. So make sure to play back a little. One thing I learned from you is fake break of structure and legit break of structure, which is super useful for me, and I take 50% low trade and more win rate. Hey, happy. I like to hear that, my friend. Knowing the difference between fake and valid or legit break of structures is super important as a trader. And I think it's the foundation that every trader should understand. If you are not able to separate fake from valid market structure breaks, it's, in my opinion, going to be extremely difficult to become a profitable trader. You can watch, I have explained twice why I'm bearish on Bitcoin Quanta Strike Pro. Please play back the stream, guys. Or, oh, you mean the difference between fake and valid market structure break? Yes, of course I can explain. See you later, Jordi. Thank you for tuning in, boss. Good luck at the gym, my friend. So a valid market structure break is when price, so valid is when price breaks a significant low or high. A fake market break is when price breaks an insignificant low or high. Now, when does a low or high become significant is the question, of course. A high becomes significant. A high is significant if it brings us to a lower low. A low is significant if it brings us to a higher high. Okay, important. So this is green. Now, when is a high or a low insignificant? A high is insignificant if it brings us to a higher low. A low is insignificant if it brings us to a lower high. Okay, so this is red, this is green. Green is this. Okay, or this. Green, green. Valid, valid. Red is this. Or this. Do you guys understand the difference between a valid and invalid market structure break? I want to save this chart. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Crypto Coin Talk. How are you doing, Big Boss? Good to see you here, my friend. No, I do not only take trades during the New York session. Depends on when I get my trigger. Let me know if this explains the difference between valid and fake market structure breaks. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, all right, all right. I appreciate you, samen kijken. I would appreciate it, guys, if you guys would smash up the like button and just subscribe to the channel, guys. It would be much, much, much appreciated. Bitcoin trying to close the next 15-minute candle beneath this low. So this would be a valid market break, like I just explained, right? You can see high, higher low, higher high. Very simple, right? Appreciate that Quanta Strike Pro. Finding the invalidation is super easy when you know how to map out a high probability trigger. Because if you get your trigger, let's say we get this trigger over here, finding invalidation is super simple because this is the high, right? Hello, can we adjust the color, please? This is the high that brings us to this lower low. So this high is your invalidation for your bearish thesis and short in that case, if you get your trigger. Price failing to close below again, which is not so nice. Yes, for now, if I get my trigger. Alrighty. If we get a trigger, so will you target previous weekly low to print? If I get a trigger, I will target the monthly low, Neon. You use leverage? Yes, I do, but yeah, I do use some leverage. But leverage is irrelevant when it comes down to risk management. Yes, the current session high that we formed over here does look quite strong. Also, according to brighter data, if I look at the last 6 months of New York sessions on Bitcoin, we can see that based on time, only 5.4% of New York sessions would take out the New York high from here. So the New York session closes right here, and only 5% of sessions would take out this high. So only 5% of sessions would do this, take out the high before the New York session closes, which means that I agree. It is a strong New York session high. So let's hope that during this New York session, we get a trigger. Yes, I've only taken one swing long on altcoins over the last 3 months, Jasper. But as I said, I don't know if you were here during that part of the stream. I would only trade Bitcoin and Ethereum and become profitable on those two assets first before thinking about diversifying. Do you use cross or isolated margin? I use cross margin, Makey 8. Alrighty, guys. I think this is it for today's live stream. And this is also probably going to be the last public live stream of 2025. I will host some more live streams for my one-on-one students. But I am traveling to Cape Town next week on Tuesday, the 30th of December, and I will be spending 2 or maybe even 3 months there. So I will need some time to set up my desk and streaming setup, and also to make videos over there. So I will probably be streaming again during the first week of January. So yes, I do have a lot of videos like that available, but only for my one-on-one students, VK, BTC. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to today's live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I hope you guys learned something during today's stream. If you guys did learn something during today's stream, make sure to smash up the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I want to wish those who celebrate Christmas this week a Merry Christmas. To those that don't celebrate Christmas, I just want to wish you guys a happy holiday. Make sure to spend some time with family, enjoy your time off the charts as well. And I want to wish you guys a happy new year. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Ciao, ciao.